Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Nonprofit Nuggets with Jen. Listen, I want to say to all of you that I am so excited by the responses that I've gotten in regards to the previous Nonprofit Nuggets that I have shared. And today will be a day that I've been really looking forward to and planning. This topic, again, continues along the line of the nonprofit startup process. For those of you who are new to me, I have been in this world of nonprofit management, nonprofit executive leadership and training, and doing the job for over 30 years. Not only am I a grant writer, having written for over $400 million in grant, but I'm a professional fundraiser. I am a nonprofit executive myself. I have led nonprofit organizations as the executive director, as well as training thousands of leaders nationally and internationally. And so today I want to talk about some very common mistakes when it comes to the nonprofit startup process. Again, I'm going to be sharing some very common nonprofit startup mistakes. When I work with my nonprofit leaders, my goal is to help them to be number one. One of the things that I find is that people are looking for to gather information, but very few people are here to learn how to overcome, learn how to lead, learn how to position their organizations to be sustainable and impactful. That we want to get information, but there's a difference between getting information and learning information. And that's the difference of how organizations that are fully funded, organizations that are in position within their community to serve over and over in terms of years and longevity and legacy. It is because they have people on their staff who have learned the skill, learned the process, learned how to put the systems in place. And so I work with leaders to make sure that they not only get the information, but they learn how to execute and implement. So let's go to it. When we're talking about common mistakes, the number one thing, again, goes to lack of planning. Number one is lack of planning. I always say that there are three reasons that nonprofit organizations struggle financially, and I don't believe that money is one of those three reasons. Again, three reasons why nonprofit organizations struggle with funding, and money is not one of them. I believe it goes to this theory of lack of proper planning. So the three things that I was speaking about is one, I don't have a strategic plan, proper planning in terms of how am I going to start? Who are going to be my investors? How do I articulate our impact? Where are the needs and the areas of opportunity that we have within our community? So not planning ahead for our partners, our collaborators. And so many of us now go to number two in this area of why nonprofit organizations fail, is that we have not properly planned our message of impact. We have not done the work of study. We've not really examined where is the greatest need within our organizations. And because of that, the leader now who leads all three of these areas and is responsible for the proper planning, he or she themselves don't know the steps. Taking an idea that is backed by passion is not a plan. Let me say that again. Taking a great idea that is, accompanied with passion, but failing to plan is a very common mistake. I find that to be lived out when nonprofit leaders are having to pay for everything out of their pocket. They're picking and selecting board members that have no experience, have no time or availability or understanding of their role, making decisions regarding funding and revenue generation, and then not having the wherewithal, not that they can't, but they didn't plan. They didn't plan for who should or could be their partners. How would they approach those individuals who would be taking or assisting and joining with them to take their organization to the next level. So one very common mistake that I find, and I help my organizations overcome, is this lack of planning. One of the things that we must do is put a plan in place. Put a plan in place in terms of who are our partners and collaborators. Putting a plan in place of how do we articulate the need? How do we prove that our organization is impactful? Planning on, strategizing on how much revenue we need to generate in order to execute this program and run the organization. Not only that, what are our plans of approaching individuals, foundations, corporations, so that monthly we can plan for the expenses. Monthly we can grow our donor file. That comes with planning. How to engage our board and really positioning our organizations for sustainability. Lack of proper planning, knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, knowing when to do it, knowing the systems to have in place, knowing the means by which we will evaluate the impact of our program. Common mistake for nonprofit leaders, lack of planning. Now, again, number 2 is lack of patience. Listen, it's one thing to take a great idea and jump out there in the middle of the sea. And we think, oh my gosh, that was a great idea. But because we did not plan properly, because we did not do our sufficient research, because we have not examined where are our opportunities, where are our challenges, what are the threats that we are going to be faced, and then we did not properly take the patience to build a foundation. That we didn't, listen, we get into it and then we turn around and we're scrambling. Why? Because we did not take the patience in the beginning to lay the foundation, knowledge of communication, knowledge of our leadership role and responsibility, knowledge of the resource opportunities, the generation and the spending, knowledge as it relates to budgeting, knowledge as it relates to the how to, the what to do, to put our financial systems in place, knowledge on where within our community are there opportunities for partnerships and collaboration. Because there was no patience, we decided, I'm pressed, Jen. This is what I want to do. This is a burden that's on my life. I believe that God said to do this. And thus, we did not take the time to learn what systems we need to have in place. It's like building a house. And I wanted the house so quickly. I wanted it so badly that I did not lay the groundwork. I didn't let the cement sit. All right. I put the walls up, but then didn't put the electricity in the walls. I bought the lights and the lamps, but I didn't measure to see if they would fit. I got windows, but I didn't do the proper work to place them properly because I just wanted it to be built. And many of us have built our nonprofits and it's on sinking sand. And so this is one of the things that I really help my organizations understand and see and change the dynamic. Listen, I've been doing this work for so long that it doesn't matter where you are within this process. My role, my job, my responsibility is to put you on the right track. And so if you have fallen into any of these common mistakes, I want you to reach out to me and I want you to take a readiness. I have a readiness survey that says, listen, did you put some things in place? If not, then these are the things that we need to put in place. Isn't that simple? The things that you did not put in place that cause these common mistakes to remain so common, we want to make sure that you continue to build with strategy, with clarity, and with the potential for the greatest impact. All of these things, guys, all of 5 of these impact your potential for funding. All right? If you want money, then you've got to know that I've got to patiently build relationships. I've got to patiently explain. I've got to patiently articulate. I have got to engage. It is not just about getting money. It's about getting relationships. And for those of us who have not put that system in place, we just wanted the check. We got the check, but we need the ongoing relationships. You've got to know how to do that. Number 3 in the 5 most common is lack of preparation and knowledge. Listen, when we heard that all we needed was 3 people to be on our board to get our nonprofit status approved, we didn't know how to prepare the board to be a part of an organization that is starting up. A lot of your board members that come to you, many of them are part of organizations that have been around for a while. Many or most of them have not been a part of a startup organization. And so that takes a different type of preparation when you are identifying them. That takes a different type of knowledge when you are identifying them. And for many leaders who have no preparation themselves have never worked in a nonprofit, they're hoping that their board members will come onto the board with passion, and that they will do a lot of the work that is outside of their purview. All right. So really understanding and preparation and knowledge and laying the foundation so that we are now, 1 month in, 2 month in, one year in, 2 year in, and we're still in the exact same position, that we've not grown. We've not been able to move forward. Why? Because we did not plan properly. Does this sound familiar? So listen, number 4 of the 5 common mistakes is that we did not invest in a strategy. And in fact, we're investing in the wrong strategy. I know for many nonprofits, the ways of that, our understanding of where funding comes from, many of us rely on grants and rely on events. Right? And so we will invest in strategies of spending money related to grants and related to events, when in fact, grants typically only make up about 17% of your overall budget. Let me say that again. Grants typically only make up about 17% of your budget. Events represent maybe 12. They're not designed, but either one of them, to underwrite your entire organization. So now we have invested time, energy, resources into these strategies, and they are not designed to fully fund our organization, because that again goes to lack of proper planning and lack of knowledge. When in fact, our individual donors, which is where we should be investing, make up about 70 to 72% of our budget. Now that's overwhelmingly where we should be putting our attention, but that takes the strategy. That goes back to proper planning, patience, preparation, and knowledge of how to get these ongoing funds. Your events, nor are your grants designed to be ongoing sustainable funds. So when we're talking about starting our nonprofit and we want it to leave a legacy, we want it to be able to hire staff and position our organizations for longevity, then we've got to put the strategy in place for that to happen. And number five, a common mistake that I find is that we are not growing our awareness in the community. We're really relying on the few people that we know, or we're not comfortable as the leader going out and building those relationships, making that introduction. I cannot tell you the number of leaders who say to me, Jen, I want to do this work, but I don't want to do the engagement part. I don't want to do the community part. I don't want to go out and ask for money. It's hard for me. It's difficult for me. It's uncomfortable for me. And so then that fear of rejection sets in, when in fact we're rejecting ourselves. The distrust of people who aren't passionate or understanding of what we're doing, and we feel bad because they're not getting it. And I believe that that's because we've not properly learned how to articulate impact. Guys, all of these common mistakes, I often give the percentage that out of 100 nonprofits, 82 of them, 82 out of 100. This was a study that was done in 2015, I believe. That out of 100 nonprofits, 82 of them are going to struggle. And they all state that the reasons that they struggle is because of money, and it's because of support and help. Now, I say to that the 18% that started, everyone starts the same way. We got to have a program, we have to have a community, we have to have a board, we have to have budget, we have to have a plan, we have to have impact. We've got to be able to meet a need in our community. What is the difference between the 18% that are raising funds, that are positioning their organizations to generate the revenue that they need, and the 82? The 82 have fallen into these common pitfalls. That's the difference. The difference is that these 82 have jumped out the gate with passion and on an idea, but did not do the work of proper planning. And thus, these organizations are investing time and energy. They're going to trainings, they're going to workshops. Why? Because they're looking for information and not knowledge. They're looking to hear information, but they're not ready to learn how to put the plan in place, learn how to lay the foundation, learn how to make the ask, learn how to set up a system that's going to help you generate revenue over and over again. We want to hear it, but now it's time to learn it. How do we learn? Listen, you got to have a teacher, you got to have a coach, particularly if you have never done this work. I want to invite you that if you find that you have fallen into one of or all of these very common mistakes, I want you not to be discouraged. I do not want you to feel that you've got to end this year the way you came in. I want you not to feel as if you've got to end this year the way that you came in. Listen, there is training, there is opportunities. I've got bundles, y'all. I created bundles, which are very simple to consume, easy to retain. And the most important part of that is that I come with the bundles, because I understand that learning comes by hearing, repetition. And, I don't want to assume that you understand all of the terminology. It's very much like starting our nonprofits and we're going into a foreign land and we've got to learn the language. We've got to learn the language. And so the leaders that I work with who are successful, who are raising money, this morning I spoke to one of my clients, and we are celebrating that in less than a year, we've been able to raise her donor file from something around 40 to 1,000 donors. And we're now moving forward for 2,000, putting together the proper planning, the strategy, the system, and the mechanism. Listen, guys, everyone can do it. Everyone can do it. You are no different than an organization that is fully funded. The only difference that I have found in doing this work is the knowledge, really understanding what are the common mistakes that I have been making and what adjustments do I need to make so that I don't continue to make those mistakes. Listen, we don't know what we don't know. And if we continue to do the same thing, not realizing that it's a mistake, not realizing, but knowing something is wrong. I get this all the time where they say, Jen, something is wrong, but I don't know what it is. I believe it's something that we have fallen into. One of these mistakes is what we did. We did not properly plan. We did not properly learn and train ourselves. We did not have the systems in place, nor do we know how to put the systems in place. Listen, our organizations are essential. Our organizations, your organization is important. Your mission matters. But in order for your organization to actually execute and implement your mission, like with any business, you've got to have the right plan and strategy. Not only that, you leader have got to know when to pivot, how to pivot, what to do, how to engage, where to turn it up, when you have opportunities for growth and expansion. And that's not limited or relying only on money. All right. A lot of the things that you all are doing that I hear from leaders each and every day, listen, we can adjust it, we can fix it, and your organizations can be in place to be sustainable. But let me say this, your donors are not walking checkbooks. Your donors deserve a leader to support an organization that is led by a leader of knowledge. I do not advocate that a donor give money to an organization where the leader is confused. That money could be used at another organization where they are prepared and positioned to grow their organization and expand their program. I want that to be you. I want that to be you. I do not want you to have to struggle. I don't want you to have to feel alone and isolated. I don't want you to have to go through the burden and the frustrations of trying to figure something out, a language that you've never been taught, nor do you understand. And you can. That's the wonderful thing about this whole thing, is that you can. Listen, guys, I grew up, my entire career from college and before, even until now, has been helping nonprofit organizations raise funds, generate a program that the funder wants to fund, and giving the leaders and the board the confidence, the tools, the resources The roadmap, the strategies of not only delivering an impactful program, but being able to generate the revenue to pay for the program operations and the organization as well. Listen, do you want salaries? Do you want to stop paying for things out of your pocket? Look at this list of common mistakes. And if you have found yourself on any of them, please let me talk to you. I've got a readiness assessment, a survey, a quick survey. I've got lots of programs and lots of information that are affordable. I offer mentoring and coaching. I am right now working with leaders one-on-one, really moving the needle quickly. I want to be able to take you further and faster than you've ever been. But you've got to be open to not only getting information, but learning it. Not only getting information, but learning. Listen, this is the year that you can be fully funded. This is the year, leader, where you can position yourself and your organization to be first and not last. Listen, if you're not striving to be first, then your community has other options. And we don't want your organization to be overlooked for a very impactful program just because of lack of knowledge, lack of knowing. Again, we don't know what we don't know. And you can know, you can learn, and you can execute and implement like an organization that has been around a long, long time. Listen, I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your nonprofit expert, and I am here to help you do this work. It is so important to me that you succeed. It is so important to me that you have knowledge. Why? Because as people come into your organization and as your organization grows, there has to be someone who is able to train, who is able to coach, who is able to help those who are coming in brand new to grow in that knowledge. It helps with your capacity. It helps with your ability to stay on task, and it helps you to be a better resource and maintain your resources in a better way for your program and organization. Guys, you're spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of money. And I want us to stop. Turn that around. Use that time and resources to build and grow your organization, have more impact, and lead with clarity so that when you have made a decision to retire, leader, that you can then turn your organization over to someone who can take it to the next level. Listen, starting up your nonprofit is one thing. My job is to help make sure that you maintain it and that you grow it and sustain it, so that your community can continue to benefit from the impact for many years to come. I am your nonprofit coach. Listen, if you know that you are stuck, if you find yourself frustrated for having to spend for things out of your pocket, you have a decision to make. Take the survey, inbox me, email me, and let's get you moving. Let's get you in a position. It's important. There are at least 1,000 people right now who are praying for a solution to their problems. You are that solution, leader. We again do the work that government cannot do. We do the work that businesses cannot do. And so it's essential and it's important, it's integrous, and you owe it. You owe it to your community. You owe it to yourself to manage with clarity, to manage with structure, to manage with knowledge. If you have found these common mistakes to be ones that you have experienced, let's make a change. Let's change it today. Let's make a difference today in how you lead. Let's make a difference in how in your more clear leading leads to more funds and resources and relationship. I guarantee that doing the right things get the right results. I can also guarantee that if you continue to do the wrong things, you're going to continue to do the wrong results. I'm here to ensure that your organization starts the right way, grows, and sustains itself. Listen, if you're looking to start a nonprofit and you're saying, Jen, what do I do first? Or Jen, do you do the paperwork? Jen, do you grant write? Jen, I do all of the above. All right. Over 30 years of doing this work. And I want to help you and answer any questions that you might have. Jump in my inbox, give me a call, shoot me an email, and I am here to help you. I am here to serve you, and I am here to equip you with the knowledge, professional knowledge, clarity, and strategy. Hold your hand and to ensure that you cross that finish line at the end of this year, fully funded as we go into the next year, prepared to grow your organization, grow your staff, and have a more impactful program. Thank you so much for joining this session of Nonprofit Organizations with Jennifer Yarbrough, Nonprofit Nuggets with Jennifer Yarbrough. I hope that this has been beneficial. I would love to hear your feedback, and I look forward to speaking with you and working with you as we work to take your organization in the right direction for the greatest impact possible, because people need it and your community needs you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and evening, and we'll talk in the next session. Blessings.